Mic check 1 2 1 2. How you guys doing, everybody? It's been a while. I know I've been going through a lot of different changes in my own life, so I've kind of had to take a step back with certain things. But I'm back. Hopefully, I'll drop these more consistently, or at least when I do drop them, I'll make sure to obviously I'll put them out. Post things here, post things there, whatnot, what have you. But I asked a couple of you guys what you thought today's topic was going to be about. Today's topic is actually about focus and patience, and also I have a bit of questions that you guys have come up with. I haven't forgot about y'all. I know there's been a couple of times I've asked about some things, but haven't really gotten around to talking about them yet. So we're gonna do a little bit of that today. So the thing about patience and focus, I personally believe that those should probably be prioritized in terms of virtue. I think those are the two virtues that you need to have a strong basis with, so that way you're able to build upon that and gain other virtues. I can only talk about this because I am so young, but I think it's very hard for us as young adults to gain these two things. And I think it's mostly because of how young we are. We've only had but so much time to experience things, but so much time to actually, live our lives. So for us, someone that's, in their 20s, a year may be forever because we only know 20 of them. But for someone who's about like 65, a year, like, that's nothing. I've had so many more of those. So there's definitely a different perspective or perception of time. Now, the young life has so many different avenues for one person to choose from, which I think is why we lack so much focus. With an endless amount of possibilities and different paths for you to take in life, it can lead to a split in focus. So that split in focus, I mean more so of trying to maybe do too many things at once. Now, this split in focus may be holding you back from, maybe getting a certain job or getting certain things you want in life. But more importantly, it may be hindering you from getting to your next virtue, becoming a better you in life as well. So virtue is about finding the happy medium between things. It's not having too much or too little of any one attribute. So when it comes to focus, too much focus may lead to narrow-mindedness. You may be unable to think flexibly or be adaptable to your situations, and possibly even miss certain things or opportunities that, you probably didn't even know were there. Now, with too little focus, this can cause for reckless decision making, not fully forming one person to their highest self, jumping from one thing to the next without finishing it, or even doing things with half effort. Now, that's not something that obviously we want to do. When it comes to the virtue of focus, being that you always have your goals in the back of your head, you're able to adapt and to accept new opportunities that will aid them in the pursuit of one's goal. So to me, focus can be split into two different things. It can be split into something that's superficial, something that, let's say you're doing a task. All right, this is the one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to stay focused on this one thing. And then there's also a more obviously in-depth version of focus, being different attributes in life that you may want to change, for example, or maybe you want to get better at something, or maybe you want to do something different. It's about breaking habits. So when it comes to breaking habits and keeping that focus, it's all about keeping that idea in the back of your head at all times. So that way, when you are doing something, you're able to step back and be cognizant of it, I believe is the word I'm trying to use. So you're able to be like, wait, all right, hold on. I don't want to do it like this, or maybe this is how I should act in this situation, or maybe this is, how this is coming to me, if that makes sense. It's a lot of trying to take in all of the information you have around you and make it into a certain focal point of what you want to do. That way it can aid you to whatever goal you're trying to achieve. I worked a lot with focus when it came to football. I will lose track of things from time to time. When it comes to the sport of football, there's so many different things going on, but it's always important to step back, reevaluate yourself, and not just in football, but just in life, and kind of reconfigure your thoughts to think that, hey, is this how I want to be acting in this exact moment? Is this how I want to, pursue this one thing? You know, so with that, with focus becomes patience. Not just to let things happen, but also with yourself, which I think is the hardest thing that anyone can do. Giving yourself time to become who you want to be. As long as you're able to move forward, then that time will come. There was a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King, and I unfortunately can't quote the thing exactly, but it basically said, whether you're able to jog, walk, or even crawl, continue moving forward. So always, and I think that's a line that is very important, because in life it's not about perfection, it's about progression. And I've been seeing that a lot, and I'm very proud of just regular people out there, of you guys being able to kind of recognize that and put that forward in your own lives. Now, like I was saying, patience with myself is one of the hardest things I've ever had to experience. I have certain expectations rather than just hitting my highest peak. I think the biggest way to kind of get away from being short with yourself is to kind of, at least when it comes to the terms of achieving certain things, I would go into certain situations without expectation. Obviously, you have things that you want to do. There's things that you want to accomplish. But instead of looking at it like, all right, if I don't get, I'm going to do it in terms of push-ups, because that's just how my mind works, unfortunately. If I don't get 100 push-ups right here, then, that's it. I didn't have a good workout today. Like, I have to be able to complete this 100 push-ups. Like, granted, make that your goal. But if you don't hit it, don't be short with yourself. Reach the most you can do. Be like, okay, instead of thinking of it that way, think of, okay, I hit 65 yesterday. I hit 65 push-ups continuously. Can I do 66? Can I do 67? Can I make it closer to 100 than I did last time? So I think that's more so about what it is. It's not about perfection, but about progression. Being able to be better than the person you were yesterday. Because in reality, that's all we're competing against. We're only competing against ourselves. Obviously, I talked about virtue being a medium, being a happy medium between too much and too little. In the terms of patience, a lack of patience creates irritability, anger, and disappointment. As to where too much patience can create stagnation, maybe in terms of a relationship, or maybe in terms of a task you maybe want to do or ask someone to do. It can turn you also into maybe a bit of a pushover when it comes to in terms of dealing with other people in other relationships. The virtue of patience is being calm, knowing when enough is enough, and when it's time to maybe turn up the heat a little bit on certain situations that you're doing. There's always times to be patient. And I think my biggest, hurdle is trying to be patient during conversations. Because in everyone's mind, it's always, you're very quick to think and react and speak. But in actuality, you should let that person finish, make sure you're able to process everything they just said, and then hold out a response. What I'm trying to do is to actually, once they're done speaking, not say anything. Just let there be silence in between the conversation, just so that way I can put forth my best answer. Give me some time to think. But in different instances, it can also be like, okay, I asked, say you're a boss, I asked such and such to do a task, knowing they have a bunch of stuff on their plate. For one, maybe I should ask somebody else. But for two, just giving them time, or giving your situation time to unravel itself. Giving your situation time to answer its own questions, because that's a lot of what life is. It's when it comes to being patient, a lot of things will answer themselves, or maybe just fall into place ever so perfectly that you never expected them to. But with patience, you're able to see that things, kind of flow, but also being able to understand, like, all right, this might have been too long. Maybe I was a bit too patient, and maybe now it's time to, kind of wrap things up, or maybe move things forward a little bit more so. Now, that's a very hard thing to do, to kind of figure out when that point is. I would say when it comes to your mind of whether you're being patient or not, that's when you need to take a step back, evaluate maybe how long or how things have been progressing, and ask yourself, do I need to still be patient about this? And as you can see, both patience and focus all come back to stepping back, reevaluating yourself and your situation, and understanding where you're at personally, and understanding where the situation is at, being able to keep focus on what your task is and have the patience to either let things fall in place or have the patience to recognize and realize, all right, I need to pick this up, you know? To attain these virtues, as you should all others, this takes constant thought and practice. So this is why I believe with these two virtues, everything else becomes easier. You know, when your focus is to become more virtuous, to gain another virtue, then you know that's focus. So, all right, this is my goal. I have to focus on this one goal, and this is how I'm going to go about it. So everything takes practice, like I was just saying. So you have to practice being focused, practice having that on your mind. Just constantly think about something. The next thing you know, it's always in the back of your head. You're like, oh wait, I should be doing this way, or I should be doing things this way. And again, that same focus comes with patience. If anything, I would probably say you need focus to become more patient, because without focus, then patience, you'll always be impatient, and patience will never come. But once you're able to gain those two things, then it becomes more so of, okay, like I'm focused on this goal. I'm trying. Let me be patient with myself. I'm not gonna get it right away. This is not something that just comes to you overnight. It's something that you have to, continuously try again at. So being patient with yourself and understanding what you've done, where you're going, and what you're about to do is all important through this path. So I try to keep that quick. I try to keep that very shortened for a reason. Got some questions. This will probably be, in my opinion, probably the most exciting part of the show. So I asked a couple of questions via Instagram, asking people, what maybe we should talk about on the show, or if they just had any questions for me. One of the things we should talk about on the show, or questions that I got we should talk about on the show, are changes in life and being adaptive to your environment. Changes in life, they come and go, some good, some bad. Whether that be a death in the family, or a new promotion, or maybe you're getting married, or maybe you're having a child. Things always happen. There's no plan in life. Life is very unpredictable. So I think being that life is so unpredictable, and having changes in life, the biggest thing I can say to that is it all revolves around how accepting you are to these changes, whether they're good or bad. If there's a death in the family, accept it. Death is a part of life. That's all a cycle that we all have to come to terms with. If there's a new child in your family, and you're, maybe struggling, accept it. Recognize, all right, this is the situation. This is what I have to do. Let's make it work. That's all what changes in life is about, attacking them, and about how is this change going to make me better on the other side of it. My family. And family in general. My family, I'm very blessed to be in a very loving family. And this is not just coming from me, but what I've seen and how they interact with other people they might not know or might not know as well. They're very loving and caring. I have two brothers, in case you don't know. One of them should have been on the show with me, but got tied up. We both did. But family is something that should be cherished. But not everyone has a great relationship with their family members. So with that being said, family also doesn't have to mean blood relation. Family is more so of a feeling. It's more so of your connection with that person. I have plenty of family members that aren't actually blood related. I have aunts and uncles that aren't blood related, but because of how integrated they are with our blood family, we call them family. So I think don't ever take family for granted, and always be willing to expand your own family. And career/life goals and making moves. I would say set a career goal, a very high career goal. I'm someone who's like, all right, shoot for the moon, land at the star. So shoot for very high career goals. If your goals sound ridiculous to other people, then you're doing a good job. You're doing something right. I don't think I've ever told someone something and they were like, that's going to be hard, or, or they haven't said that's going to be hard, like, I don't know if you could do that, things like that. And that makes me feel like, what, maybe I'm doing the right thing. That pushes me to want to do it more, prove people wrong type things. So I would definitely say when it comes to goals and life goals, make them, make them high, make them at what you believe should be the best of your ability, or at least just try to get to the best of your own ability and just keep going. You know, maybe the best of your ability for that day changes from the best of your ability from next week. So just constantly trying to hit that goal, and you'll reach where you want to go. You'll reach where you want to hit. Definitely always make connections about who you know, not what you know. I've learned that a lot. And I've met a lot of really good people that put me in a lot of really good positions. Not because I was super smart, but because, like, hey, you know him, so here you go. And that's that. So definitely networking is super important. My Florida experience. For those of you who don't know, I actually just returned from an internship with the Miami Dolphins, the NFL football team. It's probably something I will get into at a later date. Long story short, it was probably one of the hardest experiences of my life. Love the team. Love my coworkers. I thought they were, I mean, obviously you're going to have bumps in the road when you're sitting hours on end with people, but I mean, overall, they were all right. Nah, they were good people. They were good people. But definitely is something that was valuable to me. I feel like I gained a lot of knowledge about myself more so than the skills I was able to attain. I learned a lot of new things skill-wise, but I learned so much more about myself and how to interact with people from different cultures, and cultures not being nationalities or countries, but culture being different areas. How to react and how to act in when you're dealing with high profile people. So that was extremely important to me. And I mean, if any of you guys want to talk about any of these questions, please just let me know. Hit the comments. Text me if you know me. Get in contact with me however way you can. I will try to do a better job at answering these and whatnot for you. On to the next one, which is something I definitely will talk about later at a later date, is loving yourself before others. I'm sure it's come up before in some facet. Loving yourself before others. You can never love someone else before you're able to love yourself. Because when you love someone else before you're able to love yourself, you're looking for things in that person that you can't attain yourself. You're looking for things in that person, trying to make them your perfect idea of what you want in your life without actually realizing what that perfect idea is. Everyone changes. Us as people, we change. And this is something that I've talked to my parents about and talked to, people who are older than me about, actually kind of a lot recently. It's about, yes, it's about finding yourself, loving yourself, but it's about finding someone else that complements that. It's about finding someone else that loves themselves just as much. They're able to be self-sufficient. They're absolutely able to do all the things they need to do. But when they're at 95%, you're able to push them to that 100. Not that you take them there, not that you're picking them up at 95, putting them at 100, but you're able to give them the tools to push themselves to get to 100. It's not about uplifting your other is 100% something that needs to happen. Everyone needs an uplifting person or experience. But to be able to give someone the tools and to push them to be their best self, I think that's a very important feature as well. But, don't take relationship advice from me. I'm not good at it. Which is funny. Next question is about love life. Not going to talk about my own. We're not going to get into that. But, yeah, like when it comes to other people, just find the yin and your yang. Find someone that is able to compliment you rather than to control you, overtake your ideas, or anything like that. My advice to you guys that would be given to me, and like I said, shouldn't be taking my advice, would be to realize or to recognize early in a relationship where their life goals are. Understand how they view life and how they view their goals in life, how they plan on achieving life, and all the things in between, their financials, their family experiences, all the things that go along with being a person and how we are as people. You should find all that out early. To figure out, is this going to work or not? Are we going to be able to work through the certain things that you might have going on or that I might have going on, So, because Lord knows we all got our own issues. And this next one actually comes from my brother, Jalil. Shout out Banks. Fear of being at fault, which is very interesting, a very interesting concept that I think I should dive more into at some point. which is I kind of tied into the virtue of courage. Courage, I split into two things. One, having the courage to say that you're wrong, because that takes a lot of courage. Being able to look at a situation and realize that, I may not be doing things the right way, is always something that's difficult for a lot of people, and a lot of people, have trouble with that. I think everyone wants to be right. No one enjoys being wrong, but to be able to sit back and say that you are shows progression, and it shows your willingness to change and become a better person the next day. Just for context, I also define courage as being able to do the right thing when everyone else around you is doing the wrong thing, which again ties into, understanding you're wrong. Next thing comes from Gene. Shout out Gene. Comes to work ethic and chasing goals. That one I might make something else about too. But work ethic is nothing short of your upbringing and your viewpoint on certain things. I think work ethic comes. I'm blessed because I have a family and parents that they work their butts off all the time, and I got to see that a lot growing up. But also being involved in the sport of football, I got taught a lot about work ethic. It's not about what you're doing when you're with the team. It's about what you're doing when no one's watching, when the lights are off, and seemingly you're always by yourself. But I'll tell you what, someone's always watching. So always just act and treat stuff like you're always being watched. There should never be a time where you're giving it 50% of your effort. Always try to give your all. Always try to give 100%. And just try to just go out there and just kill it. Just kill it. Just give your best effort, because that's all you can do. At the end of the day, you can say, I have no regrets because I gave my best effort. When I was in Miami, there were a lot of times that I got yelled at, but it was always mental errors. It was never something I did. It was always mental errors. And the only thing I could think is, man, I effed up, but I'd be damned if I let anyone outwork me. Like, I always try to take each task at 100%. And it might not have showed, it might have showed, but I know no matter what happened from that experience, I could go back and look at it and be like, you know what? I tried my hardest. And that's all that matters to me. Chasing goals also has to roll in with, patience and networking. Gotta network. I'm telling you, gotta network. No matter what job you have, what you're doing, you network, it's going to put you in the right places. Granted, you got to talk to the right people, but it's going to put you in a good spot. Last one comes from one of my very good friends, Demo. If you know him, shout out Demo. He asked me how to talk to women. I don't know. I don't understand them. So, not the best person for that one. Yeah. Definitely not my point of expertise, which is why, I think in my life right now, it's very self-focused about progress and trying to make myself better. Because, can't love anyone before you love yourself. So once I'm not comfortable, but feel like I'm in a good spot of self-progression where I know more or less what I want, and I say more or less because life is always changing, my wants and needs are always going to change. Once I understand the direction I'm going in, then I'll be able to, talk to women about, certain things and see where their direction is going, things like that. But, shoot, I don't know. I am stumped on that one, my boy. Don't know nothing about that, unfortunately, so. But that's all for the questions today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Kept it nice, short, and sweet. Try my best to, but you know how these things go. Start rambling. But hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon, whatever the case may be, whenever you're watching it, wherever you're watching it. Go out there, kill your day, be the best you can be. Like I said, I'm going to try to do these more frequently. But, it is what it is. If you want me to go more in depth or have a full conversation about any of the questions or things you heard today, then please let me know in the comments. Hit me up if you know me, any type of social media, whatever like that. My challenge to you guys would be to really try to get something in your head and try to focus on it. and just think about that one thing all day. See how it works for you. The other thing would be to practice patience and just be patient with yourself in every facet of life. Things will happen. Just keep working hard, and you'll see the results of it. And if you're being too patient, things are happening, then maybe you need to change how you're moving. Maybe you need to change the things you do. That way, things can happen. So, like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Just trying to open up people's minds 1 minute at a time. You dig? Y'all have a good one. Mimic out.